When I was
What?
young and an idiot, which I'm now just old and an idiot.
Oh, Jakey.
Hey, pass me a beer.
Jake.
I muted you, but I can't unmute you, so you have to unmute yourself.
Look, at least promise me you won't drink. Alcohol always leads to trouble.
Jake.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
Right here.
You win!
All right, what do I win?
Another beer!
I am here for you
isn't
guys to
it,
make fun of me.
Just have a cup of coffee.
Beer it is.
Coffee?
Beer.
Poopy time.
I'd kill for a beer.
All right, who's doing the intro, kids?
I did the last one.
Cheap beer and a sympathetic ear. Step right up.
Are you up to it today?
Me?
Uh,
Oh, Jake's back.
You have to do the intro, Jake? Come on.
all right. Yeah, I'll do it.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. We're going to stop you until you did it wrong. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I got it.
You ready to go, Chad?
What's that?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Go ahead, Jake. Go.
All right. Welcome, everybody. This is another installment of Bearded Hops. I am guest star. Yeah, I'm going to go with star there. Jake.
Good.
Sitting here with Adam. Say hello, Adam.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Jake? Thanks for coming across the street.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, it is cold and snowy. And I got our boy up here from Wisco, Chatter.
What's up, everybody?
So this is
Up in
another
the,
episode. Oh, Chatter.
Yeah, up in the north, way up north of Green Bay.
You gotta let Chad. You have to stand up and show your sweater to everybody. You have to.
I have to right now, right off the bat.
Have to. Let's have
All right,
to
so-
right now.
Start strong.
All right. So this shirt, I won second place in an ugly sweater contest at a bar in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And I think I won this second place prize because I was actually wearing ugly sweater
It's taking a lot
pants.
longer than I was hoping. Just stand up and show the damn sweater, dude. That is so ugly. I like the beer. The beer is nice, but that's ugly. That's cool. But
I like the sweater. Funny story, Chatter. The first time he told us about this, he said he won first place.
No,
Yeah,
I
he did.
corrected
He did.
myself. I corrected myself.
Well, now
And then you said, good on you for correcting yourself.
But hey, let's get into this. Thanks again for
Hey.
having me, boys. This is another, as I said, episode of Bearded Hops. So what we're going to do is we're going to try out a beer today. We're going to start off. We're going to rate it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to look at the bottle, talk about the flavors, talk about the background of the company. Once we get that into a glass, we're going to look at it, talk about what it looks like. We're going to sniff it.
There
we go. That's what I was waiting to hear.
Yeah, boy. We're going to sniff it and smell it. Talk about those flavors, and we'll give it an initial rating. And then after that, we'll take a walk, talk about the beer a little bit, explore some other beer news.
You say we're taking a walk? Where are we going?
Yeah, we're going to take a little, a
The virtual walk.
yeah,
I was
virtual
gonna say it's
walk,
cold outside. There's a lot of snow. I don't want to
Yeah.
go for a walk.
a metaphorical walk through the interwebs and look at some beer news, look at some background of this beer. And then we'll
This
come
podcast
back.
got really different. We're taking metaphorical walks now.
We'll come back. I'm gonna punch Adam in the face, and then we'll give it a final rating. And yeah, we're gonna have ourselves a great little episode.
Yeah, this will be the best rated podcast ever if you do that. Punch him in the face.
That
I would say-
and,
I would say- I
Gina
would
back in
say-
here, because let's be honest, all these people are tired of all these dudes.
Yeah, it's time for. We should actually have Gina come down and try this. I liked it when she did the other ones. It was good
Yeah.
to have somebody
fresh-
who doesn't talk beer like we do, and well, it smells like it. She's like, it tastes good, So
Yeah, I was listening
is
to
nice perspective.
KBS, CBS, and I was like, oh man, she sounds so much better than us. Yeah, maybe she needs like a segment, like Gina's take. I don't know.
there you go.
you
Ask
go.
the wife what she thinks of the beer. That's what it would be. Yeah. So everybody, thanks for joining us. And yeah, we're gonna be tonight's beer is going to be from Sheeps Brewing, and I just recently did a quick review. And if you don't know what that is, hit up our YouTube page. And you will see we have Chad and I do some quick reviews each week, just short, quick, about what, 5 minutes? Well, actually, 3 to 5 minute
3 to 5
reviews
minutes. Yep.
of the beer. For those of you who don't want to sit through the whole podcast, but I did the 2017 version of this. This is Three Sheeps. Is that really? Did you really just try to burp? You're starting.
But
off the
blam,
show
he's starting off
horribly.
early.
It's terrible.
I'm seeing a doctor tomorrow.
You need to see a doctor tomorrow. We are doing the Cuvee Blend 2018 by Three Sheeps Brewing in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
I'm really looking forward to this one.
You didn't have the 17, right?
That's right. Just based on your review of the 17, and that doesn't really give us any context because these are all different every single year.
Right. That's the really cool thing about this series, and they just started in 2017. So, Jake, the one you and I did taste is their first time doing this, but every year is different. So it's not like with CBS, and all the other ones we had where they try to keep it, nice every year after year.
Right.
But this is only year 2. So
yeah,
we've had both.
Nice. I know, and I'm very, very tempted to actually go back, get another bottle to age for next year. I should have picked up 3 last time.
I almost did last night. I actually may do the same thing. If this is really good tonight, I probably will do the same thing. And I'm going to ask them if they have any 17 left too.
You're going to be going back.
Before we get into it too much, how hard is this one to get?
So they just released it
January
9th. Yeah, so they just released it. And I actually went back and forth with them a little bit on Instagram because I had posted a picture of my review of the 2017. They asked me if I'd had the 18. I didn't even know the 18 was out. So they just released it in Wisconsin. And so the guy, Beer Bazaar in Haynesville, was talking to him because that's where I got the 17. He said he didn't even expect to get it last year, that it must have just had some extras and he ended up getting it, but usually it doesn't come down here. So when I went to Woodman's in Kenosha to pick these up, there were like 4 there. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to restock it. I'll probably go up there later this week sometime and try to grab another bottle to age for next year.
So you should have bought more.
Yeah, obviously.
So 2 other things before we really start getting into this, which I'm excited because I really like the 2017 that Adam shared a little bit with me. One is I want to thank you boys. I joined the club here. I got my hat. This was inspired first by Adam, and then Chatter picked up a nice one. And what's cool is it's the Hilltop
Hillsboro
hops.
Bert.
So I ordered this right from their gift store, and it's it might sound stupid, but I get like the receipt that comes in the box, and they hand wrote thank you for your order. I was like,
oh, that was nice. I ended up buying mine off of Lids, so I didn't get a handwritten note. I just got a bill.
I like to support local businesses, so I went ahead and did that.
Stop digressing, Jake. So we're gonna try.
Nice.
This is the second year that Three Sheeps has done this. We will, like Jake so kindly pointed out, we're gonna go ahead and we'll crack this open. We'll get it poured because I really want to drink this, and then we'll start talking a little bit about the beer, what we know about it, which isn't much because they haven't put a whole lot on their website about the 2018 variants, and then we'll talk a little bit about the brewery as well. So have you been to this brewery, Chad?
No, I have not. I actually thought I was going to just accidentally end up there this weekend because Brittany said something about going to Sheboygan, and I'm like, oh, we're going to go to Sheboygan? And then she's like, well, I was going to, but then some things changed and she couldn't go. So
Sheboygan. So you're kind of just like a brewery tease right now.
That's exactly
you had
what
me
it
going
was.
there for a second.
I was really disappointed when she was like, no, we're not going. I'm like, oh, man.
Is that when you decided to get that Scotch Chub?
Ooh, the old Chub.
Chub rating. All right, I'm cracking this open, kids. I'm not playing around anymore. All right, so
yeah, Adam, can you toss that bottle opener?
Oh yeah, I forgot to share your bottle openers. Okay, so a little bit about this.
Go Pack, go.
As
always.
Um, so we will.
I just got sick.
I know, you throw up in your mouth a little bit. So here's a look at the bottle. And when we spin it around here, you can see when this one doesn't have the age on my other one did. There's no stamp on it, but it can't be that old anyway. Well, the cool thing about this bottle is right here on this side of the bottle, if the camera will focus. Come on, buddy. Right there on the bottom, it'll tell us what the mixture of these are. And so this year for the 2018, we have 19% Imperial Stout that's been aged in second use rye whiskey barrels. Nice. We have 50% Imperial Stout with toasted coconut aged in second used bourbon barrels. Holy crap, I'm mouth-watering. 25% Imperial Black Wheat with coffee aged in second use bourbon barrels, and 6% Belgium style quad aged in second use bourbon barrels as well. This is a limited release. Do they have an ABV? Anybody? Bueller? I don't see one. I don't see ABV.
I thought 12 something.
Do you guys smell the coconut? Am I crazy? I think
yes,
you can get that, right?
So if you look at the front of the bottle, it's an ale with coconut. The simple explanation is an ale with coconut, coffee, figs, molasses, aged in second use oak barrels. And then you turn to the other side, and that's what Adam just read is the full description of where these where this blend comes from.
Chad, if I just see figs, what flavor am I to assume?
If you see figs, what flavor?
Well, isn't a fig like a berry flavor?
Well, a fig is a tree. It makes
I just
fruit.
think of Fig Newtons, but
Yeah,
Well, right, but there's different flavor of fig Newton. So what flavor of fig are we having here? Hey guys, fig you.
Jake.
Too early.
way too early. So just for poops and giggles, I do have the 2017 bottle here. And so like we said, each version is different. So real quickly, the 2017 was a 38% Imperial Stout aged in red wine barrels, 13% Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels, 12% dark wheat aged in bourbon barrels, and a 37% black Saison aged in red wine barrels. So that was 2017.
Yeah, and I need to go. I really want to find a 17 because I would actually like to collect these bottles. I'm assuming I'm going to love this one. And I'm jealous that you have the 17 bottle and I don't. But
what's funny is when you were here,
yeah,
we
this was supposed to be.
We talked about doing a fourth recording in the weekend and doing this one, and then we were both like on Sunday, we were both just kind of tired and be like, "Yeah, let's not do it." And then we did. So I know I was very surprised, obviously, how good it was. And also, just another note about this. Basically, on the side here, I'm not going to read all of it because it's a very long thing. But basically, how this works is once a year they step back, take a look at the work they've done, and they create a special brew that draws from the best of the past 12 months. They call it the Cuvee blend. So that's what they're doing. They look back on 2017 and look what they did really good and toss it in here. So
I gotta say, I gotta say, this is slowly becoming one of my favorite breweries. I went back and looked at my Untapped check-ins from Three Sheeps. Every single one of them, I think, is a 3.25 or 3.5 or higher. And that roll out the barrel that I had the other day is a delicious one too.
You also did a quick review of Roll Out the Barrel, which will be coming out also. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I looked doing the research on the brewery. I really am gonna get more of them because they have so many beers that look so good.
I know.
And the brewery itself, just about when we talk about the brewery, we'll talk about some of the stuff. But they're just very impressive. The way they quality try to change things. It's really cool. And I'm done talking. I'm starting to pour.
So Cuvee very simply means a type, blend, or batch of wine, especially champagne. Ooh, Cuvee. Hey, what other type of beers do they have that you want to try? Are they pretty? They have a wide sort of mix.
Let's talk about that in a minute. Well, because
Jake, just pour it.
Pour your beer. Let's get a taste on this because I actually do kind of want to dive into some of their beers a little bit. It's interesting on their website. The Cuvee blend for 2018 shows that it's aged in bourbon and red wine barrels. I think that's a leftover 2017 label.
Yeah, their site's not up to date with 2018 information. So.
Yeah, there's no information on this on their website other than when they tapped it and that they'll have 22-ounce bottles available on January 19th.
And I mean, just on the pour, the head is thick, and it's like very, very similar to what we saw. I think I want to say with CBS. I think
CBS, yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Strong aroma, really sort
got
of filled
strong.
the air as soon as I poured it.
It's got a
bourbon,
sweet bourbon smell.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely the bourbon for sure. The thick head there. So this one doesn't use any wine, right? It's all whiskey and bourbon. Yeah, it's all whiskey and bourbon. Okay.
Yeah, black wheat, Belgian style quad, imperial stout. Yeah,
That's why I'm
whiskey
wondering about
rye
that
barrels.
ABV. Because you have a quad, they're usually higher in ABV, and then you have the bourbon, which is makes them higher in the aged.
The only thing I've been able to find on this as far as ABV goes is 11%. So it's actually, I mean, if that's correct, it's less than last year's. But
So
That's
Chatter,
not bad
maybe
to
it's not. Maybe they don't have to put the ABV. I know we talked about that in a previous.
I know. Yeah, because it's not on this. It's not on the bottle that I see.
What does it have it on there or no?
Yeah,
No.
on last year's bottle it says 12.6.
So I think that
Yeah.
you're still seeing last year's.
And that jives with their website, but the ABV
So I think
is not on the website.
It'll be a bit before we see it.
Well, it's on Untapped at 11%, but I don't know if that's accurate.
Smells really good. I mean, I'm definitely getting bourbon. I'm drinking.
Interesting. Last year,
Oh my
the
god!
smallest contribution they had from any of the 4 beers was 12%, whereas this year, the Belgian style quad's only 6. So, sort of a big drop down. And I don't know if you boys, I was doing my research on beer blending, so I have some thoughts on why that is. But go ahead. First impressions. I haven't sipped it yet. I'm going to do it right now.
That's delicious. That is so good.
Now, I'll tell you that I didn't smell any coconut, but when I drank it, I tasted a little bit, but I tasted more of the toastiness of the coconut. You know, that's toasted coconut.
Toasted coconut on the
So,
sides of my mouth. I get on the sides.
If I wouldn't have said, if I wouldn't have read that it said coconut, I would just taste the toastiness of it. You know what I'm saying? And the bourbon, of course, is right there. It's really good. I really like this one.
That's delicious.
Yeah, I smell the coconut, but I don't taste it.
Man.
But doesn't it get back to a previous episode, Adam? Something I didn't know. You were talking about when you add the hops to the boil can be the difference between the smell of a beer and the taste of a beer.
As far as the hop characteristics of it, yeah, which actually we're going to be talking about later in the show. We're going to talk about IBU ratings and you were here for that, so it's kind of good how we were talking about the difference in Pliny and Two Hearted, right? Well, because one was 100 and one was like 55, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But this is, and Chad, since you didn't have it, but Jake, you had the 2017. The 2017, you could definitely taste the wine influences in it, but so this one is much less, I would say, tangier because you had the wine notes in the 2017. This one has much more of a bourbon barrel aged flavor to me.
Adam, I think I like this one more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
So-
agree with you.
Some of the comments I'm reading about it. So since you guys have had both of them, a couple of the comments here I'm seeing are it's not as sweet as last year. Now this one tastes
Absolutely.
okay because this one tastes a little bit sweet to me, but it's not. They're saying it's not as sweet as last year's.
Well, last year was aged in, right? It was
In the wine
two red wine barrels, right? I think two of them were aged in red wine barrels, so that brought out some of the sweetness, I think. And there was a saison in there, black saison as well.
Correct. Not only was it aged in 2 different wine barrels, but the ones that were aged in wine barrels made up 38% and 37%. So it was very heavily sort of favored towards that.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I definitely understand the last year was sweeter. Absolutely, I agree with that. So it definitely depends on your palate as far as which one you would prefer. But my goodness, I mean, I'm glad we had the 17 and tasted it before tasting this one because 17 was good and this is really good.
The 17 was great. In fact, you had saved because you had started it and then you corked it so that you could share it. And I liked the 17 when we had it, but this is more sort of my type of stout flavor. I mean,
Absolutely,
I really
yeah.
like that bourbon flavor.
Yeah, and even in 2017, even though there was bourbon aging in there, I think the red wine offset that, so you didn't really get it as much.
Absolutely.
But I also think the toasted coconut, that's a nice kind of curveball to throw in there that I didn't really know what to expect when I saw that, but my goodness, the toastiness hits me on the back of the tongue. And you're right, Chad. I think you said the coconut on the side of the tongue.
Yeah, that's where I get
good.
the coconut. I don't get any coffee in the actual when it's in my mouth, but as I'm talking, I can, you know how you can almost it's kind of weird to say this, but you can almost taste your breath sometimes after drinking a really strong beer.
Right.
I can taste coffee as I'm talking,
Yeah,
but
like
I didn't taste it going in.
The coffee's in the legs. You know what I mean? The coffee's it's in the end of this beer.
Yeah.
Like you're right. I don't taste it up front. I don't even taste it on my tongue, but after I swallow it and give it a couple seconds,
then
I can hear. Shut up, Jake. Then I can hear.
Swallow it.
Then I can. Then I can definitely taste it. So, and what was the other one? The fig. Is that right? Was there?
On the front, coconut, coffee, figs, and molasses. And the molasses makes it a little bit sweet.
A little bit more respectful. But that's how you do it. A little forced at the end there.
It was good for me.
But the other one is also second used rye whiskey barrels. And I don't know that I've had too many rye whiskeys to even know that flavor if I tasted it.
Well, I had a rye whiskey aged ale this afternoon. I'm not a big fan of rye whiskey. I've had a couple. Door County Distillery does a rye whiskey. It's not bad, but I'm not a big rye fan. I'm not. But now that I've had that rye on rye from Boulevard this afternoon, I can't taste the rye in this like I did it in that one. But that was just a rye whiskey aged ale.
Yeah.
But
Cheddar, are you talking rye whiskey aged ales? Or are you talking rye whiskey in general? You're not a big fan.
Not a big fan of rye whiskey. I like.
I had a great burp, and I did not unmute my microphone. God damn it!
It wasn't that great.
I'm a big whiskey fan, a big bourbon fan. But I'm not big on rye whiskey.
My burp was way better than Adam's.
Lying sack of shit. So the we'll do our ratings here in just 1 second, but let's see the 2018 ratings so far for the Cuvee blend. Untapped has a total of 219 check-ins, and it's a 4.29 rating right now. So that's not bad. I mean, of course, it's very small check-ins because it just started hitting shelves, but
still, even if it's a small sample, 429 out of 220 is there. A lot of people rating this a very, very good beer.
Yeah.
So, dumbass question, but educate me, guys. When it says toasted coconut aged, is that meaning when they prepared the hops?
No. So all this is done.
Well, because go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
Yeah, all this is done.
Like at what point in the process?
Fermentation process. So instead of us putting, in the fermenters that we have when we do like the home brewing, they might put it in those fermenters for a period of time and then move it over to a barrel and let it keep fermenting there. But yeah, this that's where that comes in. So toasted with toasted coconut. So they must have tossed in toasted coconut. They put it in the barrel and then put toasted coconut in the barrel with it.
Because it's so toasty, and I think that's my favorite part of the flavor. And I'm just trying to sort of envision during the process where you would add that flavor.
Where are you tasting? Like when you say you're so toasty, like are you tasting that like right up front and you hit it with toastiness, or?
I'm tasting it right up front. I'm smelling it and I'm tasting it right up front. And that would make sense because that's 50% of this one.
The one thing I will say that I am noticing though, the head on this reminds me of a Guinness. Even though Guinness is nitro and this isn't.
Yeah.
The head on this is just like that thick, very creamy, tiny bubbles,
Yeah, they're tiny bubbles, yeah.
And that could really have to do with the freshness of this. I mean, this was a week old.
3 weeks old. 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
I'm curious enough about this beer that I just might take a drive to Sheboygan this week.
So
be
not to
awesome.
compare it to another beer, but remember how we were doing CBS and they had that whole like dark as, the night is darkest before the sun or something.
It's not like that.
This beer is darker. I mean, look at this. This is pitch
Yeah, I was
black.
actually I was gonna shine. I was gonna put a flashlight, my phone flashlight on this, because this when I do
No black light
my
shatter.
quick reviews, it's so dark in here. I always have to put a light on to get the true color, but it doesn't matter. It's black. It's black. I mean, there's no light getting through
No,
this.
there's nothing. There's nothing there. Yeah, I just did with mine as well. So, man. So, Jake, give us your initial thoughts and your initial rating on this Cuvee Blend 2018.
Well, my initial thoughts is once again, for me, it's got a lot of toast. The best flavor I can say is coming out for me is the toasted.
The toasted coconut or just a toasted flavor?
I smell the coconut. I don't taste the coconut, but I taste toasted. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of a different word to describe that, but that word just kind of stuck in my head from reading the bottle. I think it's delicious. I'm going to put this I'm starting it at a 4.25. This is damn good.
It is.
Damn good beer.
What do you say? What's your initial impression and your initial rating?
Yeah, so I mean, I do get some toasted coconut flavor. I'm actually not smelling the coconut so much as I have a little bit of a taste of coconut, which is always interesting because the thing about beer reviews is everybody's different, right? So Jake smells the coconut, doesn't taste it. I don't smell the coconut, but I taste it. So all of these reviews that we do are so subjective to our own palate. So it's really interesting. Bourbon, I taste a little bit of coconut. I get the coffee on the exhale, not taking it in. It's for an imperial stout with the aging. It's delicious. I'm high on this one. 4.75.
Ooh, 4.75. That was horrible, by the way. 4.75. That's nice. I mean, I totally see.
That's Goose Island, Bourbon County territory.
Right, exactly. One thing I will say is I just took it and kind of swished it around the cup like you would a wine, and then took a drink of it, and I definitely was hit with the coconut after I did that. The other thing that'll be interesting is how this is going to go as it warms up, because we each have our own pint, so we're going to be drunk tonight.
Well, so
before Adam's rating, I was going to say to you guys, one, I know I like this because I need to slow myself down because it's just damn good. I'm just gonna keep drinking it. What's your expectation for how this might change as it warms up? Because you've talked a lot about that on some of your previous podcasts.
I expect coffee to come out a little bit more, and maybe even the coconut to come out a little bit more than what it is. But other than that, what I like about this is it's all a surprise.
And usually, I mean, the bourbon flavor actually usually gets stronger as it warms up too. So I know you got to do a rating real quick, Adam. So go ahead and do that. But then I got a question about each individual bottle.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to land right in the middle of you guys at 4.5. Yeah. I mean, when I took that first initial sip, I had the thought that you did, Chad, of wow, this is Bourbon County territory right here, because this is really good.
Yeah.
And I only expect it to go up, because I've been finding drinking more stouts is that as they warm up, more flavors come out, and it just gets more delicious as Chad dies back there in the background. Apparently went down the wrong tube.
Okay, that's got to be worse than my burping problem, right?
Whoa, sorry about that. I tried to breathe it. I tried to breathe it.
Give me something.
My eyes are watering.
Was that your own fart that's doing that to you? What's going on?
No, I tried to breathe it instead of drink it.
Oh, okay. Well, with it in your mouth? That doesn't seem right.
I'm all right.
Okay. So I am going to say, yeah, I'm going to land in between you guys with a 4.5 initial rating. But yeah, I don't see that going anywhere but up. So what was your question, Chad? What were you going to talk about?
So I'm curious. So you had the 2 bottles at your house that you guys are drinking, and I've got mine up here. My bottle, since I bought it over the weekend, has just been sitting in the wine rack at room temperature. I did not drink it at room temperature though. However, I probably what time is it now? It's 8 o'clock or 8:15 or so at night. I put this in the refrigerator at 4:30 for an hour and a half. Took it out at 6 and let it sit until we open them up. So what I was trying to do there is get this somewhere, because room temperature is going to be about 70. Well, maybe not 70. Liquids are going to be a little cooler than room temp. So
Right.
60 is probably 65. What I was trying to do was get it somewhere around 50 to 55 when I opened it. So I figured, I was totally guessing, but an hour and a half of refrigerator cooled, take it back out and just let it sit. And it's cool. It's cooler to the touch. So I think I probably did a pretty good job. I wish I had a thermometer where I could
There's a thermometer. I know I
get
have
an
one, but
accurate reading.
I don't want to go get it. Yeah. So,
But where?
I bought these yesterday.
So was yours cold or?
Yeah, I bought it yesterday and just popped them in the garage fridge, and then Jake grabbed them out. I'd say they've probably been sitting here in the desk for like 30 minutes or so, Jake, right?
We had about 30 minutes there. Do serious beer drinkers do that? Do you know? Do they take the temperature of their beer outside of having a beer fridge?
I doubt anybody actually.
I'm sure.
takes the
I would.
steps
I would think that more serious tasters probably can just tell by, as soon as it hits their mouth, they'll be like, "No, this is too cold or this is too hot."
Yeah, and I think it's just more fun to. I like getting the first few sips cold, and then waiting for it because I like to see how it changes over the time.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I stuck it in the refrigerator for an hour and a half, because I wanted to chill it a little bit, because I didn't want to just drink it at room temperature all night long. I wanted it to be a little bit cooler and let it warm up a little bit naturally as we drink it.
I think what's helped me with this show, being a guest and being a follower and a fan, is drinking my craft beers a little bit slower and letting that flavor change, because you know, they always say like 1 drink an hour or whatever that is, but I was like, well, what if it's 3 drinks an hour, you know? So it's been good, like especially when we were doing CBS and we really took like an hour to drink it. And I want to say we took about that long with Goose Island, though I know we were drinking 2 different ones. I'm not sure if we took quite that long.
No, we didn't take quite that long, but also another thing with the CBS is we each didn't have like a full pour. We only had 1 bottle of that, whereas with the Goose Island, we each had our own bottle, so we were able to take a little bit more time. Plus we were kind of drunk by that time anyway. So,
that was a good day. I want to do that again soon, by the way.
That was an awesome day. It's something we should do 4 times a year at minimum.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling everybody listening. I mean, I was in that point where I was like, I love you, man. But I was totally thinking to myself, anybody listening to this show, get together with your friends and plan a day where you just sample some really, just kick-ass beers, because that's what we did, and it was a blast.
Well, I think what's going to be funny is the next time that we do this, with the show that we have to do, the Shitty Beer Show. That's going to be the show that we have to do.
I thought you would say the reunion show, like where we go back and do those again.
No, get those same beers again? Good luck getting those, man.
No, I thought about the Shitty Beer Show today as I was watching.
We've talked about it so much. It has we can't like not do it now, because I think
we got to line it up.
We're at 10, 11, 12 episodes or whatever now, and we've talked about it at least in more than half of those shows. So if it doesn't happen, that's shitty on us, but we have to do the Shitty Beer Show.
Can we call it the Get Shitty Beer Show? Because that's probably what it's going to take.
I don't want to drink that much.
Get shit faced. Get shit faced. The Shitty Beer Show.
Yeah, get shit faced off the Shitty.
Well, I will probably. I mean, I think you guys. Well, I don't know about you, Jake. You being a Coors Light guy and all.
You guys.
Yes. For those of you who don't understand, Jake,
we're just
Jake
playing.
has a base beer that he grades things on, and his base beer is apparently Coors Light.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, if Coors Light is really your base beer, then every beer should be about a 3.5 or a 4.
No. Okay,
here's your chance. Clarify.
But do it quickly. We need to move on.
Okay, very quickly. Listen, everybody needs a reference point, or at least anybody that can do 1 + 1, which Adam struggles with. It helps me to have a reference point.
Really, it's over to go.
I started on Untapped. I just took my standard. It's a hot day, and I need to drink 6 beers. That was Coors Light, so I graded that, and it just gave me a reference point. Screw you guys.
No. Don't get mad here, buddy.
What?
Listen, if I could burp, I wouldn't be so mad, but I'm just a little testy.
His lack of burpees got him all pissed off.
You're keeping it all bottled up now because you got a little performance anxiety going on there.
Out is better than in.
No, I don't. No, we're not making fun of Jake here. It's funny because when
I am.
when I first met Jake,
I know you
what he was going to was Coors Light, and that really hasn't been that long ago.
I thought you were going to
And I
say
know
what he
you've
was
had-
going through was Coors Light.
I know you've had some craft beers over the years. I mean, you had Pliny the Elder way before I did, like 3 years ago, 4, whatever. So,
And
You-
he
you-
brewed with us like 4 or 5 beers. He brewed with us. So let's move on and talk a little bit about Three Sheeps. So the owner, Grant, he's the founder and owner. I guess he grew up in his grandpa's, right around his grandpa's brewery, or his dad did. I don't remember.
Grant Pauly.
Either way, he's got brewery in his family.
Great story.
Thanks, man. Bite me. He's got brewing in his family, and he finally he's working in the family's concrete business and decided to open up his own brewery. I guess after 3 months of being open, or a few months of being open, they won Rate Beer's award for the best new brewery in Wisconsin,
Yes.
which I didn't even know there was such an award. But
And I think it's fun. I think it's cool. They put on their own website, comma. So best new brewery in Wisconsin, comma, a state overflowing with fantastic beer. So it's a
Absolutely.
nod to the other fantastic beers in Wisconsin. But you know what? We might be a little bit better.
I'm just going to say if you can get this beer, I don't know where it's, you guys tell me where it's distributed outside of Wisconsin. It sounds like even getting in Illinois was lucky. If you could get this beer for $12, buy this beer.
right, that's the other thing. It's a good point. I didn't even talk about that, Jake. I mean, this cost us $12.
Yep.
I mean,
That's what it cost me too.
for a pint bottle, and we're talking about CBS was 20 something.
$26.
Yeah, and then the Goose Island was $14 for a pint.
And we bought 14 or 15 of them.
Yeah, we bought quite a few of those. But I'm just saying,
So-
talking about the per bottle here. The price for this isn't. I don't know. Three Sheeps, you could definitely charge more. Thank you for not, but you could definitely get away with charging more than you do because this is some good stuff.
When you go and look at the other
Rated.
22 ounce to 750 mil bottles that are out there, you're looking at $15 to $25 a bottle pretty much everywhere. $12 for this is that's a great deal.
Now, they
Well-
talk a lot on their website also about heart and science, and it's mentioned a couple different times that they like to brew beer differently, and they're meticulous in their research, and they have a scientific process to figure out how to make whatever they come up with to try to make it work. And so one of the things they say is that we like to make beers that nobody else is brewing in ways that nobody else is brewing it, but in a way that's so balanced you wouldn't have noticed it if you didn't tell you. So are you guys noticing a balance?
Yes.
I mean, they're not to me. I mean, to me, there's not one thing that's like boom right in your face. I mean, I definitely taste the bourbon, right? But it's not like it's overpowering or anything like that.
The only thing for me that and I would not call it overpowering. The only thing for me that is stronger than the other taste is the toastedness. Otherwise, I think this is a nice complex blend. And the other thing I'll say is it has a great aftertaste. It really sits in your mouth. It coats your palate. It kind of hangs out. It's just like the dude on the couch. Like it's just it's a good time.
It's very, for me, you're exactly right. And I mentioned that a little while ago about the coffee coming back after I drink it, but the bourbon sits on my mouth and the coffee sits on my mouth.
But I
as
can't
a coffee
believe
drinker, I love this.
I can't believe that you're tasting so much coconut. Because I don't. I mean, I taste
No.
it, but it's not.
No, I smell the coconut. I taste the toastedness of it. Just
Yeah.
the whole thing has like a toasted flavor to me, and I'm just digging it.
I definitely get the toast. Yeah, I get the toasted for sure. I think a few sips I've taken now that it's warm up a little bit. I mean, it's hot as hell in this room, but
Open your window.
I did open the window so you can
Follow
suck
your
it.
flow.
Open it farther.
I taste the coconut more now that it's warm.
Double barrel, baby.
What did we do to deserve that? I mean, I like it. But so I'm kind of a visual guy. So when you guys told me, when Adam gave me the 2017, he said, this is 4 beers blended. In my mind, it was just like a vat or a pot, and they just poured their 4 best beers in there. And just like somebody had like a big ass wooden spoon, they just started mixing that shit up. Like I was just like, what does that mean, blending? So I've been trying to read up a little bit on blending. I don't quite know what it might look like if you're pumping out barrel after barrel, but I did find some interesting stuff. They talk a lot about trial and error with blending. Determining how much to add of each beer is the fun part. All you need to do is add a known amount of beer to another amount of beer, stir to blend, and then sample to see if you like. So the point being, they don't know going into it necessarily how much of each beer they're going to use. That's a lot of trial and error. That'd probably be fun. The other thing that I read here, especially about beers when they started blending, is they would have older beers that didn't taste as good anymore, but they didn't want to throw out because they cost money. So what they would do is they would blend the older beers with newer beers just to make them drinkable so that they wouldn't have to throw out the older beer, and they would smooth out sort of that sourness, that spoilage taste, and everybody would get to get hammered together. So still not quite sure what the process looks like, but starting to understand it a little bit more.
That's actually one reason I would actually like. I think I want to drive over to Sworgan this week to ask these guys about the process of making the Cuvee blend, because I totally agree with what you said. I'm not sure there's anything really wrong with that as long as it comes out all right.
Well, it's just science, Chad. It's not about agreeing or disagreeing.
Right. So, but I want to know what the process is and how they arrived to, choosing the four blends that they chose to make this something that's this good.
Well, and imagine too, like, imagine it's you and Adam, right? And you guys are working there, and you guys are like, the 2 people in charge of this, and you start mixing it up, and one of you samples it, or you're like on your 10th sample, and one of you is like, you know what, this is perfect, and the other guy's like, no, I think this needs a little bit more of the the quad. Like we're at 4% here. This needs to be kicked up. It like, who makes that final decision?
Well, brewmaster. I mean, it comes out of the brewmaster's
Brewmaster. Yep.
decision.
Yeah, and just Chad, if you do go, let me know. I may be willing to make the drive. Because
do you guys have a beer that you'd like from another brewery that's a blend?
I can honestly say this is the first time I can remember drinking a blend.
Yeah,
So
I don't know that I've come across a blend. That's why when I saw the 2017, that's what intrigued me to buy it, because I'm like, a blend. I mean, I've heard of wine blending.
Oh yeah,
right?
wine blends all the time.
Right, we've heard of whiskey blend, but this is really the first time I've seen, especially to this level, where you have it's 4 in this one, and was it 5 in the last one, or whatever it was? Like, it was 4 in the last one. Okay, so just going to that extent, though, taking 4 different beers aged different ways and just coming out with something just amazing.
I can't name another brewery that I know of that does this. I'm sure there's plenty of them that do. I don't know. This is the first time I've come across it.
Yeah. Now, when you look at on their website, now, number one, their website I think is really good. We've talked about this before, Chad. Like, we're impressed with somebody's website. Their website.
Yes, this is a great website.
Their year-round their year-round beers. Looks like there's 4, no 5, 6. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6.
Beer.
There's 6 of them, and I haven't had any of them. The year-round beers. Have you?
Oh yeah, you got to click view all to go to the
view all. Yeah. So there's 6 there. They have a Pils. They have the Fresh Coast, which is a juicy pale ale. With nitro, they have a nitro stout. That'd be nice to try. IPA, of course, an amber ale, and another IPA.
So I've had 2 of their year rounds. I've had the Water Slides and the Cashmere Hammer, which Cashmere Hammer is a nitro stout, very good, awesome beer, and the Water Slides, excellent IPA.
Now they have seasonal and special beers. Looks like they have 4 listed here, and they say that our seasonal specialty beers allow us to further flex our creative muscles. They have a Nitra Berry. I'm assuming it's a nitro something. Uber Joe, Happy Summer, and Paid Time Off. I'll have to look for those as well.
I think I've had Uber Joe.
Is it
nitro? It's an imperial, not a nitro, imperial stout. Coffee.
Yeah. Okay. Then they do have a small batch barrel aged. It's which is Roll Out the Barrel. I don't know if you saw Chad on there. Roll Out the Barrel. It's a totally different label than yours.
I think that's probably going to be the 2018 label.
Yeah, that's a cool label.
Yeah.
So they have
It's kind of kind of like Old West, like
right.
Old West style label, old paper. It's a cool
look.
It's a cool
Yeah, I
label.
see that barrel. I feel like I should be pushing through like some swinging doors, and being like, just leave the bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. Then they have small batch noble tongue. And this one they say sometimes we have an idea that doesn't fit into the standard understanding of what beer is. We call them noble tongue because that's what you've got to have to drink them. We have a hobby spice one. What is this? It's Imperial IPA. Does this have some type of with ghost peppers?
That's on their homepage. Can we brew a beer with ghost peppers?
Ooh.
I think there's a sentence in this paragraph that's funny. Well, two sentences. One, they use the word big. I don't like that. But if your tongue is noble and your heart is pure, you'll experience something you've never experienced before and learn that a flavor you thought was crazy isn't that crazy after all. These beers are big. I don't like that word. Sometimes odd and always a bit of an adventure.
Did you ever see the movie Big, or did you have a bad experience? What's going on?
No, I think the word,
was it like a young Tom Hanks scared you? Or
we talked about this on a previous podcast that using
it
a
was
word like
therapeutic episode for Chad where we talked about his fear or upsetness over.
It's not. I just feel like it's a nondescript word. Like you say a beer's big. What the hell does that mean?
So does that mean equally you wouldn't like small, right? Because that's just as ambiguous.
Yeah, I feel like beers can be a little more well defined. And I mean, when you're describing a category like this noble tongue category, maybe that's okay. But if you're describing, like if we're talking about this cuvee tonight, and you say, "Oh, this is a big, bold flavor," those are two very nondescript words.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you mean by big and bold.
Fair enough. I will say though, looking at this site, they got a big selection. Drinking this cuvee with a big taste while I'm looking through this site, really elicits a lot of big feelings. I like a lot of their big names here. I think First Kiss. I like that. I like this Paid Time Off.
You just say
the only
big
thing I don't understand is where's this big 2018? That's all I'm going to say is I see the big 2017 there, but we're kind of missing a big 2018 premiere of Cuvée.
They do say about the Cuvée blend is that it is a nod to French winemaker tradition of blending. So now, is it warmed up for you a little bit, Jake?
It's definitely warmer than we started, but I would say it still has a sort of chilled temp to it. I have not. I would say that the toast is less pronounced. Otherwise, I haven't noticed a big change.
I'm tasting more coffee. That's the first with that last one for sure. There's more coffee pronounced in that one.
I didn't notice. What glasses are you guys using?
Only Child.
Oh, I was using the stout glass tonight.
Yeah, I brought the stout glass in here, but went with the Only Child because
I really would like to try this Imperial black wheat ale they have called Midnight Bourbon, brewed with Belgian yeast, aged in bourbon barrels.
So wouldn't that be fun, Chad?
I'm not sure I've had something like that.
Have the I keep wanting to put an R in there. The cuvee. So have the cuvee ready to go, right? But first sample the 4 and then go into it.
You mean try the 4 separate beers?
Yeah.
Yeah, try them all first. It could be like a just a taster size or something. 2 ounces, 4 ounces, whatever it is, and then go into the blend.
Are we halfway? Where's everybody at on the ratings? Halfway. Well, it's a start.
I still feel like you're just gonna puke all over the computer over there.
Yeah, listen. For the record, I muted a huge fart, but anyways, I mean it was big.
Well, I'm halfway down my glass at this point, and I've poured everything, so I'm more than halfway.
So with a beer like this, Adam had brought me some of those Bourbon County. I have them aging in my basement. I know he's got a case aging. Chad, I don't know if you have anything aging at your house right now.
Yep, I brought 5 or 6 of them home.
Nice. With a beer like this, or the ones that were aging, is there also an equal sort of flavor reason to drink it immediately after it's bottled? Could somebody make the argument if I said, "Hey, I had this beer 3 years," and they said, well, hey, I had it a week after it was bottled and it's better then. Like, is that a legitimate argument?
I think it is, because I think when it's bottled or when it's tapped the first time is what the brewmaster intends it to taste like.
Okay. Great answer.
And you also got to take into account it's already been
aged.
for a period of time. This doesn't really give us timing, but this has already been aged in these bourbon barrels, before it got bottled. So there's that aging's got into it. Now, the whole idea of aging, whether it's a Bourbon County, whether it's CBS or whatever, is just because there are bourbon aged already, and because they are higher ABV, you can get away with aging them. Like we've always said, you don't want to age a pale ale or anything like that. So,
well, right. Yeah, I'm talking about beers that you would age. Any idea, since this was bottled, how long ago it was blended? Do you do that like right away? Do we have any idea if that's part of the process?
Yeah, I have no idea. That's something we'd probably have to ask if we go to the tap room or something, because I have no idea what that process
is.
looks
Some
like.
recon here.
I will go there this week.
I've got a big list of questions.
I'm not even gonna say I'm gonna try to go there this week. I will go there this week.
3:00 Saturday is a brew tour. You can do that
Next Saturday?
this Saturday.
Or every Saturday?
Looks like
You just want to go next Saturday?
Saturday.
For the next
17th?
5 minutes, Chad and Anna will discuss which Saturday they're talking about.
We need to get to halfway here. But I really don't want to just shoot this because it's so good.
Yeah, it's not a beer you chug. No.
This isn't coarse.
So when I was young and an idiot, which I'm now just old and an idiot.
For the next 5 minutes, Jake will discuss how he's an idiot. Go ahead, Jake.
I used to love Irish car bombs, which was a tall glass of Guinness. Do you think it would be fun to just sort of drop a shot in here and chug it, or am I just an idiot?
You're an idiot. You're an absolute moron.
No.
Wait a minute. Wait. These are two different questions. Wait. No, don't answer if I'm an idiot. Answer, could that be tasty?
No.
Don't ruin the beer like that.
Fine.
Where are we at halfway? I'm halfway. I'm sticking at a 4.75.
Where are you at, Jake? Are you still at a 2?
Okay, so a 2. I started. This was way above my base beer, Coors Light. I started at a 4.
Hey, you said it, not us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm proud of it. I am leaning towards going to a 4.5. The only thing that's changed is I really want to go visit this brewery because.
What are you doing Saturday?
Going to visit this brewery with you.
Yes.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
That right there made me warm and toasty.
Let's do it.
I haven't tasted a huge difference besides a little bit of, like you said, coffee with it warming, but it's still. We're not drinking it like room temp yet. It's still not there, I don't think.
Right. Cadillac.
4.75, easy.
So you're staying at the 4.75. Yeah.
Yes.
I am actually going to go up. 4.75. I'm going up from the 4.5. And I'm tasting more coffee. And now that I'm talking into this mic and this muff is absorbing my breath, I can smell more coffee.
I honestly, I actually could give this beer a 5.
There it is. Just give it a 5 already. You know you want to. You want to give it.
But I feel like,
oh baby, 5.
Since CBS,
he's completely raping this microphone over here.
Oh baby.
Since CBS, I almost feel like I need to back off the jumping to the 5 scale. Now, I've got 14 or 15 5s in my checklist. I've got one that shouldn't be, and I've got a 4.75 that should be.
So that's a lot of 5s. It's a lot of 5s.
I know. I've drank a lot of good beer.
You high five him, mother.
I've drank a lot of good motherfucking beers.
He said it. Why can't you say it?
For the kids.
So right. I feel like since CBS, though, I would have, if I could break through the 5 ceiling, CBS would have gone higher than a 5. So I'll stop.
I want to say something though, Chad.
No. Wait. I'm gonna stop talking about ratings until the end.
I just muted him for you. Right.
I see that on my screen. Jake is muted.
You don't have to mute me. Go ahead, Chad.
4.75. This might change.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can. I know we talked like last time especially when we did CBS and Goose and Pliny about comparing it to for beers. But I mean, I think you did too, Chad. But we both gave CBS and the Goose Island. That was God bless. I swear you're gonna throw up on the end of that one.
God,
We both gave CBS and the Goose Island.
Mike Clean.
We both gave them 5s because they can stand on their own.
Yes.
As giving them a 5. It doesn't have to be, well, I gave Goose a 5 and I really can't give this a 5. I don't think it has to be that way at all. This is a damn good beer.
I think there are plenty of beers on my list out of the 15 5s that probably, now that I'm into, I'm sort of fine tuning my taste at this point. Going back, I probably wouldn't have rated some of those beers a 5.
Right, and that's the other thing. When did you start doing Untapped? Like when I look back and when I started doing Untapped, I don't even. When I started doing Untapped, and like I said, I rated Pliny so high, I wouldn't rate it that today because your palate has changed. Your flavor has changed over time.
But it's not just your palate's changed. You've had more beers.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though.
The spectrum of what's a 5 has changed. What I think is interesting, though, and I don't agree with you guys, and I'm in a position that our fans aren't in just yet, or maybe they will be by the time this podcast comes out.
You say our fans? Our? Seriously?
Your fans, because I'm a fan. As much as I hate you guys.
Yeah, you did say I'm a fan earlier. Now you're.
Now those they're his too.
Pretty soon you guys are going to be gone. It's just going to be me. But you guys slowly started backing off of CBS as that day went on. You started saying maybe you gave it too much.
No, I don't think I gave CBS too much.
No, I think you need to go back and re-listen to that.
Let's wait till the Bourbon County comes out.
I've listened to that podcast more times than you know.
Listen, I was there once and I was drunk, so yeah.
I never backed off my rating of 5. Yeah, no, they're very well deserving of it. I think the Pliny was the one that I definitely back off my first that I gave it back in 2012. But as you said, drink more, you learn more, your palate changes more. You have better beers, you have worse beers. If you think about when you first started drinking any type of craft beer, what were you comparing it to? Well, your base beer, of course. So, of course, that first craft beer you had was so damn good. You're going to like, oh, shit, this is really good compared to my base beer. I'm going to rate that higher. But then as you go, you've had so many good beers, they got to settle somewhere.
Actually, the first craft beer I legitimately tried to enjoy, I was like, oh, this sucks, but there's a bunch of people around that like it, so I'm going to pretend to like it.
Got to be cool, huh?
Yeah,
I think that happens quite a bit.
That's what happened. It actually took some time, but as I've mentioned on previous podcasts, not a stout fan originally, trying to grow that appreciation. And the funny thing is, like, am I a stout fan now, or because this beer is delicious, or are we just drinking just the cream of the crop, or maybe it's both? I don't know.
Well, I think that's a very good point. We are, I mean. Let's be honest. The shows that you've been on with us, they have been damn good beers in comparison to.
Could be funny when it's like the shittiest shit beers and like, oh guys, I can't make it.
Right, I can't be there for that one.
I gotta do something over here.
Now, Chad, the next topic that we're going to discuss while we finish off this beer, this is something you brought up to me today. I think it's a really, really good idea. Go ahead, Chad.
We had an interesting discussion on not the last podcast, but a couple of podcasts ago.
It was the Pliny one, right?
During Pliny, yeah, about IBUs, and I thought we should just
first
discuss
set the stage first, like what we talked about during that review, and what kind of context to bring this up, because when we reviewed those, Pliny the Elder was listed as being 100 IBUs, and Two Hearted, which is what we were comparing it against, was listed as being 55, correct?
Yes.
But the problem was, if you go back and listen, as we tasted that, we were very shocked because Chad, not being the IPA guy, when he's like, oh, shit, this has 100 IBUs, I'm not going to like this. Even my wife, when she came in and tried it, she's like, I'm not going to like this 100 IBU. But then when you drink it, you couldn't really tell there was, a 50 difference in IBUs.
The reason I wanted to bring this up tonight is because it really kind of confused me when we did the Pliny versus Two Hearted. And it's not IBUs. The IBU scale is a chemically dependent scale. So it's not linear because it's based on the beer taste and flavor. Who was that?
Adam.
that was horrible.
The IBU scale, I think, is a good place to give you an idea of where you think this beer might be, but it's not accurate to tell you how bitter the beer is actually going to be.
Because it is chemical. It's not.
It's a chemical measurement. It doesn't have anything to do with the other parts of the beer, especially malts, that will balance out the bitterness of a beer. So the IBU scale has been around for 100 years, early 20th century, right?
Right. Yep.
It was introduced as a way to quantify how bitter a beer would be when it's ready to drink.
And it was also in modern brewing, it's used as a quality check. Because the breweries are pumping out so much of
they have to
same beer, they want to be sure that the flavor is the same. Is the flavor consistency is the same across all these beers at that one style
across all their brew sessions. Yes.
Yeah. So they want to be sure, and so that's one way that they can do quality checks on it.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of articles here we can reference while we're talking about this. So I'm just going to start out with the definition of the International Bitterness Units scale. It's a chemical measurement of the number of bittering compounds, specifically isomerized and oxidized alpha acids, polyphenols, and a few other select bittering chemicals that make your beer taste bitter. I don't know what all that shit means. That's the definition of the IBU.
At least he's honest about it. I have no idea what I just told you folks, but
what it means is the IBU scale correlates to what your palate, your sense of bitterness of a beer actually tastes like. And the brewers have to use this because if they don't give some sort of indication of where the beer is going to fall on some scale, regardless of how you taste it or how you don't taste it, it has to be out there to give you an idea where the beer might be.
Well, the one thing I'll say about that Pliny and Two Hearted episode is that I know you repeatedly said I don't taste a difference, Chad. You're like, I don't see a difference. There's really no difference between these two. And in one of the articles that we found, there's a pretty good paragraph I thought that kind of explained that. The bitterness can be offset by different things.
Yes.
In the brew process, and so that explains
the
exactly
balance of ingredients.
Right. They can use the different malts in order to offset the bitterness, but when you do the IBU test, because it's based off the chemical, it's still going to rate as being 100 IBUs, but on the tongue, it's not going to give you that 100 IBU sting.
Right. So an example in this article says that you can drink a strong amber ale rated at 60 IBUs that doesn't taste nearly as bitter as a 55 IBU pale ale. The stronger malt flavor of the amber ale matches the IBUs of the beer and balances them accordingly. So the IBU scale simply measures the amount of chemicals in a beer that make it taste bitter. And the question is, does that make sense?
My head says yes, my body says no.
But then what's the point of telling people what the IBU is? Like Chair said, people started telling people, like, do they feel compelled to? There's certainly not a law that says you have to tell them.
No, I think it's a craft beer thing. Really, you're not gonna find the IBU listed on your freaking Bud Light. I mean,
yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
All right, lay off the Coors Light. All right.
It gives.
I said Bud Light, okay, but we can throw Coors Light.
I know what you meant.
I know what you meant.
Light beer shit is light beer shit.
The IBU scale gives the taster a place to start, I think, and that is when I tasted.
I'm just saying, like, great, you got an idea of the chemical composition, right? But I mean, for me, if it's not a reflection of how alcoholic it is or of the actual taste, it just kind of seems like
so you don't look at IBUs on a bottle at all when you think of it.
I tried to, but now like when we looked at what was it, Pliny, like double something else and they taste the same. And now you guys are like explaining this stuff to me and it can all be offset in the process of how they make it. It just kind of seems like showing the IBU is just some, hey, look at me bullshit. I don't know. It's just how I feel.
Yeah, you see that IBU rating and you're like, this is going to taste like shit because it's going to be so bitter. But really? You don't know until you taste it. That's my whole point is the Pliny being 100, the Two Hearted being 55, both of them tasted very, very similar to me because the Pliny was had such a good balance to it with the other ingredients in that beer that it didn't make it taste like a 100 IBU rated beer like the Lagunitas Hop Stupid that was 102. So when I look at a 100 IBU beer, which Pliny is, and a 102 IBU Hop Stupid, I dumped the Hop Stupid because I just didn't like it. It didn't hit my palate right. But the Pliny was really good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, if somebody out there that's like a brewmaster wants to come and tell me what's what, please do. But from where I'm sitting right now, like I thought IBU, okay, like this is a double IPA or this is, I thought it meant something. And the more we talk about it, the more I learn from you guys, at least where I'm at today, the IBU doesn't sound like it means shit. So don't put it on the can, don't put it on the bottle. Let me taste the beer and then I'll figure out where it lands.
So, Chad, where are we supposed to go from this, Chad? I mean, we're supposed to just look at the bottle and be like, I don't believe you. You're lying bastards.
No, because the number that's given is a proven scientific number. My point in discussing all of this is if you look at the IBU number and discount a beer based on the IBU number, you're probably missing out on a lot of really good beers because
Gotcha. That makes sense. Like the people out there, like my wife, afraid of 100 IBU beer, when she tried the plant, God bless it. When she tried, you've yet to do one good burp in like 4 shows. So
I had one.
You did not. You did.
Wait, I don't remember.
It was like half of one.
No. Your microphone is mute.
No, but seriously, like I, for example, really like Anti-Hero. That is a beer that tastes, very bitter to me. Like when I drink it, I can't drink it fast. Not because I don't like it, just because the bitterness just slows me down. But I like that bitterness. It takes me longer than other sort of IPAs, that I would drink. But here I am looking it up. And 65 doesn't seem that high on the scale. So I gotta tell you guys, like,
do you have enough memory of Pliny to compare Anti-Hero to Pliny?
My memory, listen, is shit. I'm an idiot.
And it's been a couple weeks.
I remember if you asked me, I would say Pliny felt less bitter. Like Anti-Hero feels very what I thought was IBUE to me. Like I thought that meant something. And now
so you would have guessed Anti-Hero is higher than 65.
Like just drinking it, I would have thought it was 100 plus. I would have thought, I'm drinking, not quite, but some variation of the 500 crazy ass, like blow my IBU out of the water shit. So I'm just in a place now, which I appreciate, listening to you guys. Like, I don't know what IBU means to me anymore.
It should mean something to you, but
Chad.
You have to. I
Thanks
think
a lot, Chad. Now I'm not going to sleep tonight.
And I'm learning just right alongside you guys because I always thought that IBU, the higher the IBU, the more bitter it was going to be, and that's absolutely not the case.
Exactly.
The IBU is a chemical measurement of a specific aspect of the beer. You don't know that the IBUs are going to be offset by other ingredients that are in that beer. So it doesn't indicate what kind of flavor or aroma, or even a perceived what you think the bitterness is going to be.
I think a better way to say an IBU is the potential bitterness that has.
Yeah.
Because
potential. Yeah.
Pliny would have the potential to be at the very top of the IBU scale, but when you drink it, it's not because they've offset it with other ingredients.
And that's all fine. And I don't disagree with you. All I'm going to say is like, it's not worth putting that on a bottle, on a can, on a menu, if you're drinking a tap, because the reality is you really need to taste that beer to really know what the impact is.
I think you've really upset Jake, Chad.
I can't even burp, Chad. Thanks a lot.
Well, you couldn't burp to begin with, but it does kind of look like you're about to cry over there.
Tears in my beers.
Okay. My whole point in this discussion is that the IBU rating needs to be, I guess, taken with a grain of salt because just
It's
because
a potential.
it
Look, instead of looking at it
it's
like, okay, this is going to be hoppy as shit because it's 100 IBUs. Look at it as this could be hoppy as shit because it's 100 IBUs.
but
And then you
it
do
may
have to
not
take-
be.
You know, did this brewer do some good things in here and bring that down with other? ingredients?
I'm just
Are
saying,
there-
like,
are
what's
there-
next? Am I gonna be on this show next week, and you guys are gonna be like, "There's no fucking Santa Claus"? I mean, where do I go from here?
I would
Wait,
never
you still
ever
believe-
say that because a parent could be listening in a car right now with a kid, and I don't want to be the one
What?
to.
Oh,
Say an
all
F
right.
word.
I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet
Right, I
then.
don't want to say shit with their kid in the car.
I just think it's an interesting discussion based, and this totally stems
It's
from
interesting, but
the planning of the episode.
Seriously, sitting here looking at him, it's like you just broke his heart.
It looks like I'm trying to burp. I mean, like I get it. I still I hear what you're saying, Adam. Like, look at it as a measurement for potential bitterness. Fine. That's fine. That's fine. Just there's no when we started this show today, like literally today, I was like, put it on the can, put it on the bottle, I want to know. And now it's like, you know what? Let me drink it because then that's when I'll really know. Because putting it on the can, put it on the bottle doesn't mean anything.
Well, it does make it hard to get a gauge, right? So if you take that bottle again, Pliny, for example, and it's 100, which is supposed to be like the top end of the scale, and you drink it, and you're like, oh wow, that's not really bad. But then you go have the whatever you had, Chad, whatever that one was, the Lagunitas.
Oh yeah, the hop stupid.
Lagunitas.
Lagunitas.
What was that one? What
Thank
was
you,
the IBU?
Chad. Thank you. Only when we say it.
Lagunitas. Hop stupid.
How much was it, IBU?
102.
Right. So then you have the 102, and it's like hobby as hell, and you can't even drink it. You can't come up with, like, in your brain, you can't come up with a scale that says, look, this is 100. I'm not going to like this.
It's not because of the 100, though, is what we've learned tonight.
Exactly.
It's
You're
right.
Deceptive
It's
practices by
because
the breweries. God damn it.
it was a lack of balance
Podcast over.
of
We're
the
not doing
other
this anymore.
ingredients.
I can't do a podcast in full faith with knowing this deception is going on.
Well, and it's like, even the wife tonight's like, whoa, you really working through these League of Heroes. I was like, well, shit, babe, these are IPAs like this. I got to drink them before they lose, that hoppiness,
Babe,
before they go.
I got to drink the whole case in a week or less, babe.
Yeah, I was like, listen, tell me when I'm seeing two of you and then we're good to go. But now
Is this like fake news?
fake IBU.
Fake news.
I kind of
You've-
like that
you've-
actually.
You've upset me tonight, Cheddar.
It would be really cool. Jake's idea would be really cool if we could get a brewer on here to talk about, and maybe talk Jake off the cliff. No longer believing in IBUs.
I want it to mean something.
It does mean something. It means
does,
something on a chemical level.
Well, great. I can't wait to put it into a beaker and look at it.
So
Awesome.
you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that.
Maybe
That's
I'll,
the whole thing.
what, Adam, do you have
That's-
your graduated cylinder over here? Let's get the Bunsen burner going. Let's look at this shit.
No,
Who
that's the
cares,
whole
Chad?
thing.
Who cares
It's
about
a-
chemical level?
You've totally
It's-
ruined it, Chad.
I
You've
care
ruined the beer
about
for Jake.
some big taste.
You just nailed it,
babe.
Jakey. The taste is what it's about, not
About
IBUs.
the taste.
But I thought the IBUs was connected to the taste.
No, you got to disconnect there.
You
Well,
were
great.
wrong.
Great. I got chemicals in my beer, but it doesn't matter to the taste or how drunk I'm getting.
Disconnect the IBUs from the taste.
IBU is a potential bitterness. Let's leave it at that. Jake, finish the last little bit of your cuvee. Chad, cheers on the last little bit of the cuvee.
Go, boys.
It's a good one, kids.
I'm done. That was fantastic.
Man, that was
I like when
so good.
All right, so final ratings.
Jake, go first.
I'm going to lock this one at a 4 or 5. And as I mentioned like 2 hours ago, if you can get this beer, it is well worth the price. Pick it up. Even if you're not a stout drinker, pick it up.
So you went from a 4.25 at the beginning to a 4.5.
Yeah, and
What changed along the way, do you think?
for me, it wasn't the award. For me, as I drank it, what I appreciated was just not only was it good when you first take that sip, but the aftertaste. Like it's been just sitting there on my palate ever since we started this episode, just kind of smoldering, and I've really enjoyed it. And hats off to the brewery, Three Sheeps. Well done. And the other thing, the other reason I went up is because now, like, I legit want to go out and find another blended beer. Like, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
I'm gonna give this a 5. I don't care if you guys think I'm a beer whore.
Yeah, you are.
This was, I mean,
We do.
CBS was above a 5. This deserves a 5. It was fantastic. I mean, there's to rate a beer a 5, I have to find something I don't like about it, and there's nothing about this beer that I don't like.
That's really
5.
interesting. That's very interesting to say. Because now I'm thinking, is there anything about this beer I don't like? And if that's the case, yeah, can I rate it less than a 5?
I will say, for all of the things that Chatter said tonight, that might be the most impactful, other than, destroying my whole belief of IBU.
Adam, where are you gonna land?
Well, I was at a 4.75 until Chad said that. Damn.
Don't base it on what I said.
No, it was a very good point. If there's nothing wrong with the beer, shouldn't it
Right.
be a 5?
Be your own man.
Exactly. If there's anything about a beer that I don't like, it's gonna knock down the rating. I thought this one was. There's nothing about this beer that I don't like. So how can I not give it a 5?
Chad, you're right. You're right. But the other half of that is, did this beer just wow me? Did it punch me in the face? Did I just, did I go full chub?
So you're saying this didn't wow you?
Did you?
There is nothing wrong with this beer. I will definitely agree with you there, but I did not.
Did you go full chub?
No, I didn't go full chub.
Okay.
Because drunk, I can't get a full chub right now.
I did.
Listen, the doctor says it's possible if I keep taking my pills.
I keep doing my exercises.
In and out. In, out.
Oh man.
A 5 is a 5. You can't change that. Years from now, you're gonna be like laying there, and I'll be like, "Remember, you gave it a 5."
Remember when I gave that Cuvee 2018 a 5? What the hell was I thinking?
Yeah, just got some guy from West Coast said it.
Would you give it a 4.5? That's weak sauce. It's better than a 4.5. Just because you're like, oh, toy, like a toiga when it comes to your ratings. That's it. I'm going 5. I'm locking it at a 5. This is a really good beer. And I will buy 2 more for myself.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go to Woodman's tomorrow and buy some more of this.
Go ahead and look at me. It's fine. You Danes know me. I'll break in here and steal that shit. I don't care.
What? You would break into somebody's house and steal a 4.75?
Your house. Yeah.
See, I think in your heart of hearts, Jake, you know this is a 5. You know it. I even think this is CBS territory. I think it's that good. CBS was good.
It is. I actually kind of would agree with that.
I think Jake is just forgetting where he came
The only
from.
thing that sets CBS apart from this has just as much front end taste as CBS, hands down. Don't disagree. And you might not even be into the sweetness that CBS has. Even me, I'm not a big sweetness guy. The thing is with CBS, when you get that maple action, the aftertaste, it's like you invited over a bunch of your friends and they won't leave. They're just hanging out, and it's just a good ass time. I mean, there's no comparison. This was damn good beer. This had a good aftertaste, but it wasn't. It was like, a few of my friends left and we were still kind of hanging out, had some music on. It wasn't like CBS where like we're just jamming ass shit. I mean, it's just going. Like it won't stop. Like I didn't want to brush my teeth. I didn't brush my teeth for like 3 days. And nobody, my wife wouldn't kiss me, the kids wouldn't talk to me. My boss was like, talk. Like, I mean, it was messed up shit. Like I'm just like I'm looking for that next beer where I don't want to change. I don't want to eat anything or drink anything. I don't want to change the flavor in my mouth. That's a 5.
Jamming ass shit.
Listen, that's just real talk.
All right. So it's Sunday night, a week from now, Saturday night, 7 days away, Saturday afternoon. Let's go to Three Sheeps.
I'm a yes pending approval from the boss.
All right.
Right
I'm a
there.
yes no matter what.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this rambling ass episode of
This was
Bearded
fun.
Hops
This was good.
This is such a damn good beer, especially at $11.
You told me it was like 12. How much did you make off me?
$1 for the gas. So everybody, thanks for listening to the Bearded Hops podcast. And
Hey Jake, we'll give you half the bonus that Adam and I make on this episode.
oh man, yes, done this episode.
I took the 20 into
You're still muted, so I don't know what you're talking because you're muted. It's like he reached over and tried to use his phone as a mouse. How much have you had to drink?
Listen, I'm crushed with the ideas. Okay.
Oh my God, you sound like Kylo Ren just now.
And Kyler Ren was a whiny ass
The
bitch.
past is the past. Kill it.
You sound like Kylo Ren.
Kyler Ren was a whiny ass bitch. It's kind of similar to you.
You guys know me, right? I'm a little whiny ass bitch.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to the Bearded Hops podcast. If you want to find us anywhere on the internet, just go to beardedhops.com/find us, and all the links are right there. Jake doesn't want to be found on the internet, so we can't tell you where to find him on the internet. Right, Jake?
International man of mystery.
International Man of Mystery.
Man of
So just
man.
go to beardedhops.com/find us.
Man's a bit of a stretch. For all of you listening on the podcast, you can also see this on YouTube, and you can look at Jake and all of his inebriated glory and how he wouldn't know a 5 beer if it bit him in the ass. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Hey, special shout out to Three Sheeps Brewery. This was a really, really good one. We're gonna come see you guys.
Stop breathing in the microphone. Luke, I'm your father.
Great beer. Good times, boys.
Yeah, Three Sheeps. Hopefully, we'll see you soon because I definitely want to go up there and check you guys out. Hopefully, pick up a couple more bottles of this, one to age and one to drink again very fast.
Well done. Pick it up. Pick this bottle up. And 3 sheets. You got me wanting 3 sheets. 3 sheets right here.
3 sheets.
You're 3 sheets of the wind, dude.
3 sheets. You got me wanting to find some more blended. Thank you.
This whole drinking during the week for you is not treating you very well.
I got to work tomorrow.
Me too. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Is there anything else to say? I mean, I don't know what else. Chad, did I miss something?
No, I think we got it all. Good night, everybody.
Oh, God. Good night, everybody.
I'm so glad that's over.
I still can't believe I don't know. That's a damn good beer, man.
That was so good. So good.
4 or 5 is a good rating.
It is a good rating. But what? Okay, so my question to you is: now that we're
You just
live, we're
got
still
to
live,
get
but we're
off
off
that.
the air.
Got it off. What?
What didn't you like about it? What?
No,
what kept you-
there was nothing I didn't like about it. There just was nothing that catapulted it above where I rated it.
I don't understand that. How can you say there's nothing I didn't like about this beer?
Okay, so what's the opposite of there's nothing I didn't like about it?
There's all kinds of stuff I did like about it.
Exactly. So there's all kinds of stuff great about it. And for me,
Right.
there were some things great about it. Everything wasn't great.
Tell me
And-
what
and that's
wasn't
not-
great.
Wait, you said everything wasn't great?
If it didn't make that impression. It didn't.
So
didn't
okay, so
slap
does this
you in
have
the
to
face.
does this have to do more with the weight of the? So, Three Sheeps Cuvee Blend 2018 doesn't have the weight of a Founder CBS.
It has nothing to do with Founder CBS.
But it
That's
does
just-
because
No, it doesn't.
you
It-
gave
it-
Founders a 5. You gave CBS a 5.
Right, I did, but I
Okay.
did not. I did not give this a 4 or 5 because CBS. If I never had CBS, this would still be a 4 or 5.
So there's something you didn't like about it.
No, that's not it. It was it was very good. Hey, listen, maybe Founders got a
I'm
little
just
extra
fucking with
love
you, dude. I'm
because-
just totally fucking with you.
because I know I'll never drink it again. I like to believe that the reason that I gave Founders the extra love is because of the aftertaste, which this had a very
was
good
so good.
aftertaste.
It was so good.
But
CBS.
yeah, that's CBS, Chad. I mean, like
I know.
it was like I just got
know.
done eating a plate of pancakes, dude.
I know.
So
know.
I mean, when a beer does that to me again, it will get a 5, and it'll have nothing to do with CBS. I don't know what that beer will be. This was a very good beer. I thank you.
Is CBS your only 5?
He doesn't give it up easily. I've got the text from my wife that I have no plans this weekend, so I'm thinking Sheboygan might be doable.
Sheboygan.
I don't even need to check.
I haven't
I
asked
know
yet.
for sure I can go Saturday.
You're an hour away.
Huh?
What?
The difference between 1 hour and 2 hours is nothing.
It's an hour. Math. I will find out.
There is a difference.
Jake, I hope you can go. That would be amazing if the three of us could meet up at Three Sheeps. I know.
Imagine
Sunday,
having this beer on fucking tap.
I mean,
Oh, God.
here's my question: Are we going to be able
yeah,
to drive
right.
home
I'm
after
like
going
75% chub right now. If that thought
OFT.
We stay the night, or are we going to make it home?
touched me, we're gonna make it home. That's why I gotta take my wife so she can drive.
I'll let you guys know. I would love to come. Either way, I want you to Marco Polo me.
Hey,
and we'll
Can you get a
respond.
baby? Hey, dude, just do this. Get a babysitter. Bring Lauren. I'll bring Brittany. The 6 of us go.
I will ask.
Maddie
No
can-
promises.
Maddie can babysit.
All
So
right,
I'm
boys.
speaking. I'm speaking for
go.
Brittany. I can't do that, but I know for sure I can go.
All right. I'll let you boys know. Thanks for having me.
It's late.
You
It's
give it
10
a
o'clock.
A 4 or 5. It's so
Yeah, I got to go.
4 or 5. That's ridiculous.
Hey, go say goodnight to the kitties
Stop
Uh,
the garage band in there, sir. And I'll save it.
and kiss your wife for me.
Wow, see that's not appropriate.
That got weird.
Really weird right
My friend Rich always says that. Kiss your wife for me.
there. Give your wife some tongue for me.
Give your wife a kiss. Do you want me to save this, or you got it?
I can save it for you, son.
All right. All right. Thanks, boys.
Bye, Pookie.
Bye, Jakey.